So in a previous video, I made vegan pad thai using noodles and other ingredients. But now I'm trying a thing where I don't have a lot of noodles and stuff like that. There's some potatoes in this recipe, but the base of it is cabbage. Now you don't need this much cabbage. I'm going to be making one pan and then another pan and then another pan so I don't have to cook every day. But this is the recipe for one single pan. We're going to start with the sauce that we're going to be putting on. 3 tablespoons of sugar. I always do the sugar first because now we're going to do liquid ingredients. 3 tablespoons of soy sauce. I used to do 4 tablespoons of lime because I thought that was 2 limes. But I don't think that that's necessary. I'm just going to do 3, just like the soy sauce. So it's 3, 3, and 3. 1 cup of water. And then some peanut butter. How much you put in is up to you. I think I'm going to do 2 knifeluls. And then a sprinkling of red pepper flakes or sriracha if you have it. You don't have to put in as much as I do. I like things spicy. You kind of stir it, get it off the edge of the bowl first. The peanut butter's never really going to like dissolve or anything, but you can break it up a little bit. Alright, we've got that. We've got our vegetables pre-chopped. We've got cabbage, potatoes, and carrots. And we've also got chickpeas in a can. These are super cheap, 62 cents a can. Now we're going to move over to the stove. Heat up some oil and wait a few minutes. I usually spread it out. I don't know if this does anything. Okay, I'm usually too impatient to wait for it to heat up fully, but this is probably good enough. Take 2 to 3 teaspoons of garlic, minced garlic. Yeah, I could have waited a little longer. It's probably too much garlic, but whatever. Now you don't need to wait too long. I've burned this before and it didn't really affect things, but you still want to try to avoid that. Alright, well, I'm going to add this in now because that's going to continue to cook. Add in a can of chickpeas. I've done 2 cans before. It was starting to overpower the dish a little bit, so stepping down to 1. Maybe 1.5 would be good. Drizzle a bit more soy sauce. Now I'm going to go ahead and throw in the carrots as well because they're always a little bit crunchier when I'm done, so maybe if I start cooking them earlier they'll soften up. Okay, now we'll start adding everything else, starting with some potatoes. That's probably good. And now some cabbage. Now I'm going to fill this pan all the way up, even though it'll make it difficult to stir. I'm not going to worry about that. Can I use this whole? I did. Alright. The reason being is I'm going to put this lid on and the cabbage will reduce in a few minutes. Oh, but obviously you got to put your marinade sauce stuff in. Now the only reason you'd really want to be able to stir is so that you can coat more than just the top level of this cabbage with the peanut butter, but you'll probably be able to do that later. I wouldn't worry about it. Anyway, now it's nice and liquid on the bottom so nothing will burn. You can put the lid back on for a few minutes. So it only took 3 minutes for it to be in a position where now I can sort of stir it. I want to get all that cabbage down in the sweet juices. But even though the cabbage is going to sit above it, it's going to be okay because we're going to put the lid back on. It'll still just get entrenched in that flavor. So I usually let it cook from the time you put the cabbage in for about 10 minutes. Put the lid on, stirring on and off, and then you get something delicious. You don't need to wait for all this liquid to cook off. It's super tasty. As long as the cabbage is done, everything else is probably done. A pan like that will make about 4 this size plates. And let's see how delicious it is. I'm going to burn my mouth. Super tasty. That marinade or sauce or whatever is soaked into everything. Carrots are still a little crunchy. Probably could have cooked them more. But overall, tasty dish. And this feels like the right ratio of chickpeas compared to 2 cans, which was just every bite was all chickpeas. But I can't stop to eat right now. I've got to make a bunch more. So thank you for watching. Let me know what videos you'd like to see next, and have a nice day.